Hello, stamping friends. Brenda Hillard here at Create with Brenda. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I am North Central Minnesota. So, welcome to today's episode. I'm really excited to share this with you. This was a demonstrator pre order swap from the 2022-2023 annual catalog by Stampin' Up! So excited for this, you guys. And now that the catalog has gone live, I can actually show you the inside of my catalog. So let me show you this adorable little bundle that I used for my card. It can be found on page 83. And I've already been through my catalog so many times it looks like tissue paper. But here it is. It's the Brewed for You bundle. And literally today I'm going to be using just the stamp set. But oh my gosh, I just love this. I think it's adorable. And let's get started with the rest of our products that we'll be using today. So, as I said, I've got the Brewed for You stamp set with the dies. There's like I said, I didn't use the dies, but they're there, and this adorable little hop with the leaves and the labels for your growler. I'm excited about this. So, and the other thing I used is the stylish shapes. These are also new. Loving these. I used the second to the largest square, so I'll keep that out. And then the other thing I used is and I also used the banner, the large banner from the Stylish Shapes. And then the circle. So this is from the Beautiful Shapes dies. And I needed this 1-inch circle. All right, I think that's it for stamps and dies. Now let me show you. Oh, and this is going to be our embellishment. These are new, the rustic metallic adhesive back dots. These are from the He's the Man suite of products. Really cute. And we're going to be using our Stamparatus. And this might be a little bit messed up because, like I said, I did these, or look messy, I should say. Oh, no, it looks very nice. I'm pretty impressed with myself here. So this is still set up from when I did my pop cards. But is all I want to do is I wanted to just move these up a touch. And so when I move one, I kind of have to move all of them. So this will be good though for me to show you how I'm going to set it up. So the stamps I'm going to use, I'm going to get rid of my logo here because I think it's kind of getting in the way of our, whoopsie, look at all the stuff I have going on there. Okay, now we're good. And I have a weird thing from I don't know what that shadow is. Maybe my computer. There, better. All right, so here we go. Here's what we have. I have the beer mug. I have the stamp that's going to fill the inside of the mug. And I also have the frothy foam for the mug. All right. The pieces that you need for this, if you're going to try this card, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. And this is the early espresso. I have a piece of basic white. This is 4 by 7, scored at 3.5. I have a piece of Sahara sand that measures 4 inches by 5.25. I have 2 pieces. One is basic white and one is our window sheet acetate. I think you can see it. It's just like a transparency. And now I've got a little bit of adhesive on there. I do not want that smudge. There. I believe I got that off. So 2 pieces that measure 3¼ by 3½. One of basic white, one of the acetate. I have a strip of paper that measures 1/2 inch by 4 inches. And then I have another piece of, this is scrap. And this measures 5/8 wide. And then it's, like I said, it's a scrap. So I'm just going to leave it. I took some crushed curry, and I did this ahead of time because there's a bit of assembly to my card, and I didn't want to keep you forever on this video. But I die cut this using crushed curry, and then I used that 1-inch circle from the Beautiful Shapes dies for this, for the circle out of crushed curry, okay? All right, let's get started with our stuff here. And is what I want to do first of all is I want to stamp on the acetate piece. Now, I've got it so that the 3¼ inch is up here and the 3½ is my length, okay? So I'm going to take my beer mug and I'm going to put it right up here toward the top. I guess it's really more, it's really middle is what it is, so I shouldn't say top, but I wanted to move it up a little bit more than I had with my swap cards. So I've got that right there. And while I have that there, I'm going to bring in, because I'm stamping on the acetate, I'm going to use my Stays On ink, all right? This is a solvent ink, so it has a bit of a smell to it. The Memento Black ink will not stay permanent on the window sheet. So therefore, that is why I'm using the Stays On for this particular image. Okay, so that's on our clear sheet. Okay, I'm going to set that off to the side and just let that dry. So while I have this here, I am going to bring in the other piece that measures 3¼ by 3½. I'm going to put that right up tight to the corner like my previous because I want these to match up exactly. I no longer need my Stays On ink, but I do need my Memento. So I'm going to bring in the Memento Black ink. I'm going to ink up the mug. I'm going to stamp that. My little air hockey handle here works really well. And this is why, because now I want that a little bit darker, so I get to ink it up again. And this is the beauty of our Stamparatus. And stamp again. And now I have it as dark as I want it, okay? So there's that. Oh, I shouldn't have taken it off. I'll just put it right back up tight to the corner. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up, my plate, my acrylic plate here, up to 90 degrees, and I'm going to remove it, turn it around, and then I'm going to bring in my little filler stamp for our beer mug. And I want that to be just like that. Turn this, pick it up. And now I can ink this up using crushed curry. So there's our crushed curry ink. And I'm going to just flip this over. And now I have a full glass of beer, but I'm not done yet. I have this little bubbly overflow for our glass. I'm going to put that on, and then I'm going to take my other plate and put it in the hinge up above. Press it down. Got Got my stamp right here. And now I can ink that up with Memento. And I can put that right here. So there's my bubbly glass of beer. All right. So that's how we set up to do all of our stamping with the Stamparatus. Fun, right? And you know what else I just thought of? I didn't even tell you, show you what our fun card looks like. So here's our card. It says another round for your birthday. And there's the picture of the beer mug. But then when I pull up on this, we get a full glass of beer up top. How fun is that? This is one of those magic, they call them magic slider cards. So beer is empty, pull it up, beer is full. Fun, right? So that's our card. Great. So here's how we put this together now. Before we mess with the acetate there, we're just going to do a few other things because I really want that to dry well. But I'm going to bring in the early espresso ink. And I'm going to bring in my 5/8 inch wide piece of scrap. I'm going to ink up the sentiment that says another round for your birthday. And I'm just going to stamp that right here. Now this is plenty long, it's way longer than we're going to need, but that's okay. So is what I'm going to do is just take my nips and I'm going to cut that off. And we'll set that right over there. All right. Next, I'm going to bring in our piece that's 4 by 5 1/4 of Sahara sand. And I want my silicone mat because I think I'll be going over the edges a little bit with this. And then from the stamp set, there's a stamp that says oat ale, yes. So I'm going to just take that and stamp it randomly here on our cardstock. There's quite a few steps to this card, but you'll see it's worth the effort just for the little ooh and the ah, okay? I think that's enough with our oat ale. And then also in the stamp set, there's just these little like effervescent bubbles. And I thought that those would be perfect to just kind of fill in our background here a little bit. I'm just going to keep going. And I know it's like, why are you doing the middle if you're going to die cut that out? But I have an idea for those cutout middles that I will use them. So stay tuned. I'll show you how. All right. So there's our background. And I think that's all I have for stamping. So I'm just going to close my ink pad. And this is going to be our background. So right now I'm going to bring in our card base. And this is just a standard card base, the 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. The thing that's different about this, and I'll show you in just a second, I want to take my bone folder and give that a really good crease. So is what I want is I want the fold, the crease to be at the bottom of this card, okay? So I'm going to take my background paper that I just stamped and using my liquid glue, I'm going to add some glue to the back. And I want to make sure that it's all glued down because I'm going to be die cutting this. And like I said, I'll show you the piece that we get from here, and I'm pretty sure I'll be doing a card. So I'm just going to center that right on here. Let me show you here in just a second. So it's going to open like this. Our crease is down at the bottom. That's how I want it. Okay. Great. So there's that part. I'm going to let that glue dry just for a minute. Let's take our 4-inch by 7-inch piece that's scored at 3.5. And for this one, I'm going to fold it in half. And again, I'm going to burnish to give it a really good crease. And this time, I want the crease up at the top, okay? I'm just going to set that right there for now. All right. So let's bring in our acetate piece here. And I'm still not going to rub a whole bunch, but I'm going to take one of my glue dots and I'm going to put one right at the very top of my acetate. And I think you can see that little glue dot there. I'm going to bring in my beer mug and I'm just going to line these up, one right on top of the other. Okay, so it flips like this. But you see how nicely they line up from using our apparatus. I can see a little blemish on there and I don't like it. I just want that off before we really go to town and put our card together. There, now it's gone. All right, so the next step for this card is we have this little 1-inch circle. I'm going to fold that in half, just like that, and give it a crease. Okay, I'm going to add some Stampin' Seal. I have my big sweatshirt on today. It's really like dark and cold and windy here again with some intermittent rain showers. So I am ready for nice weather, but it doesn't seem quite ready to come to us. So what I'm going to do then is just put this on top of my card and I'm going to pinch it right over the glue dot. So it's going to be front and back like this, okay? All right. Still see that little blemish and I don't know what that's from, and it's not a big deal, but it's just me being me. So all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to center this. Remember, our fold for this one is at the top, so I'm going to lay this down and just kind of eyeball so that it's in the center. I'm going to take my pencil and just make little tick marks on each side. And then what I'm going to do next is make a cut along here. So now you can do this cut with your trimmer. You can do it with a punch. Whatever you have, that'll work. It's what I found that worked the best was to put it in this. This is the essential tag punch. So I can put it in like this. And I'm just going to cut that little bit. Maybe if my hand, there it goes. And then I can do that same thing on this edge. I'm lining up the bottom with my pencil tick mark, and then punching again. So I get this opening, okay? And again, that's the essential tag punch. But like I said, whatever you have in your supplies, you can use your trimmer, you can use punches, you can even snip it with a scissor because it's not like you're really going to see it anyway. All right, so then our next step is to take our beer mug with the acetate, and we're going to split this. This is how that magic happens, okay? How did I do that? Oh, I think it's okay. I don't know what I was seeing that made me think it wasn't. You get lots of reflection with the acetate here. Oh, I see what I'm seeing, and I don't like it. All right, I'm going to bring this up, and I just want to make sure that our beer mug is here, and it is. All right, put this in here. Like I said, this is our magic slider piece, okay? So it's going to be like this. And we kind of just get it as even as we can in there. And then, you know, our little 1/2 inch by 4 inch piece. So we can lift this up. And is what I'm going to do is take my liquid glue. I forgot one little step here, but we still can do it. I'm just going to add some little dots of liquid glue around here and just on the 4 inch piece. And then I'm going to put this down, and this one is 4 inches. So it's going to go from edge to edge. I'll show you here's in it. You don't want any glue underneath that. You want it to be able to move in there. And as what we just did with that piece of paper is that's what's going to stop it. You aren't able to pull it all the way out. Okay. So that's our moving mechanism for in our cute card here. Here's the part that I forgot that I want to make sure that you see. I took a light crumb cake Stampin' Blend, and I'm using the thick end, the paintbrush end. And I'm just going to add some grounding to our beer mug. And this doesn't have to be exact. It's just a little something. But do you see how you get how it kind of grounds that rather than just having it sit there? All right, so that was the light crumb cake Stampin' Blend. All right, next step. Somewhere in your arsenal of tools, we no longer sell them, but I have a little hole punch. This one is retired, and I don't even know the size of it anymore, but it's a real thin or small diameter hole. And is what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch through the 3 layers of cardstock and the acetate. So punch. If you have a crocodile, that works. If you don't have any of it, but you have a piercing tool, you could do that too. I'm going to take our linen thread, and I'm just going to snip a little piece off here. And is what I'm going to do, fold it in half. I'm going to put the looped edge through the front toward the back. And then I'm going to open up the loop and grab those 2 loose ends. And as all this does is forms a little slip knot over the top of our tag so that we have that pull to make our card work like I demonstrated in the beginning. Okay, so now is what I want to do is I want to pull this so that it's centered in our slot, like so. I'm going to turn it over. Oops, I got ahead of myself. Forget all of that. We'll go back to it. So we have our little piece over here that I was telling you about. And just what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this through, I'll just do it and then you can see. I'm going to run that piece through our die cutting machine. The first one that I run through, I'm going to open the card and I'm going to center our stylish shaped square. Remember, this is the second to the largest square. And I'm going to put that right in the middle of our card like that. So there's about an inch on the top and the bottom, okay? Put my cutting plate on. All still looks good, even though I bumped it. And then I'm just going to move this through our machine. Bring it back just because we're cutting through 2 layers. And now when I take it out, I have this cute little stitched edge. And I also have a cute little square. Like I said, that I plan to use those for another project. So I'm just going to save that. So now our piece looks like this. Now I'm going to close it. And again, I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to take that 1-inch circle square or circle, and that was from the Beautiful Shapes dies. I'm going to put that on here so that it's about half, not quite. And I do want a piece of just low tack tape. I just use like the Scotch brand, the Wall Safe tape. And I'm going to put that right here. And that'll just help me hold it in place so it doesn't slide away, because we're going to go forward and back. Remember, we're cutting through three layers of cardstock. So we're going to go through one and come back again. And hopefully we went through all 3. If not, I'll show you a little trick. Okay, so we did not go all the way through. So what I'm going to do is take this piece off, and then there's a groove on our card from where it went through, and now we can just run it through as a single. So you just fit the cutting edge from the circle die in the groove that we made the first pass through, and then we get that nice little dip right there. Okay, I have those brown half circles all over my floor. So when we're done with the video, guess who gets to vacuum? Me. All right. I feel like I have stuff all over. I kind of do. That's all right. This card is, like I said, so worth it. So what we're going to do now is where I started before. We're going to center this. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to add Stampin' Seal the back of this piece. And you saw me add a fair amount of adhesive because with the interaction from this card, I want to make sure that it stays in place. Now, all I'm doing is lining up the top edge of our pull with the top edge of our card, okay? So all of this really is loose in here. I mean, nothing is, and you can see it can go side to side right now there. All right? So the next step is to take our adhesive, and we're going to go on the right. Want to make sure none of this touches our white magic slider piece in the middle. And then I'm just going to flip this up, making sure that our tab fits in there. White. just stuck on a little bit. We'll fix it. There we go. All right. So we've got our stuff. I'm going to put this on. And now I'm going to flip this over. Oh, I did move it up to my little beer mug up too high. I'm going to see if I can just fix this up a little bit. Just to come up. Take this part down. Because I didn't really burnish it, it should come off pretty well. It rips a little bit. It's not the worst thing in the world because... Okay, so the reason I did that, you guys, sorry, I'm making this look a lot harder than it is. But I want this beer mug to sit in the window. So that looks a little bit better. All right, so now I can burnish it down. I'm gonna turn it over, do my edges, and go over that middle piece in the back with our slider. So we've got our beer mug, and now when we pull up, it fills up with beer. All right, so our little sentiment here, we have our stitched banner from the Stitch Shapes. And I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back of the sentiment and put that here on our banner. I'm going to snip that just a little bit. And let's bring in our rustic metallic adhesive backs from our brand new beautiful catalog. I'm going to take this, put it right here, and then I can put dimensionals, and I think I will do that for this one. I didn't on my originals, but I like it for this one, being I moved the beer mug up a little bit. I'm going to put these right here at the bottom. And now when I set it down, I have to make sure that none of those dimensionals are going to touch on our acetate sheet. I do not want that. So just like that. And it says another round for your birthday. And then when you pull up, you get the full glass of beer. Now, I know what you're thinking, because I was thinking too, it's like there should be a sentiment in here. But if you put a sentiment in there, it's going to show up on this one. So I guess if you do give it a try, I would love to see what you create. But that's what I put together for my swap card, my demo pre-order swap. I hope you love it. I hope you'll give it a try. And as I said, this Brewed for You bundle is just adorable. So stay tuned for more projects. Until then, enjoy your new goodies, enjoy the new catalog. If you need a catalog, please request one down below. I'd be happy to send one out to you if you do not have a current demonstrator. Bye, everybody.